What is going on, Don't Unfriend Me Nation? Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. Oh boy. It's not that I was sleeping. I was up at 7. I was up till 4. Olivia passed out. I had to see Donald Trump accept and do his victory lap. Folks, the thing I wasn't going to say last night, I'll say this morning. Red fucking wave. Not only red wave, red fucking wave. It only took us about 4 years, but the red wave officially is here. And I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. We'll go over it together. Where we missed, we didn't. Where we hit, we did. We'll talk about it. See you in 3 minutes. Be right back. Hi, buddy. Red wave, dude. Red wave. Say again. No. Idaho's red. Yeah, and they won the house. It's almost guaranteed. So it looks good. I'll see you in a little bit. If you want to come on, you can. Ask questions.
Do you want the truth? Are you tired of being so confused? You feel like you're more fucked up than the lies on the evening news. Well, just step right in. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make up for the...
And I'm sorry I cussed with the red effing wave, but you know what? I'm a little excited, okay? I'm just a little excited. It's vindicating. We'll talk about it.
Agree or disagree, stop offering me. 'Cause I'm everything you want, damn sure what you need. I won't tell no lies, back up all the facts with truth. And if you can't get down with that, you must be somebody's stuff.
That I hear most often, that I always try to help people connect the dots, is what is past is prologue. And although Shakespeare, not my favorite, it's an interesting thing when you look at 1980 and the crack epidemic and what the United States government was involved in with the Contras.
No kidding.
So I don't understand why people are so shocked and they call Roseanne a conspiracy theorist. Because there's evidence in the past of the government getting involved in this, and there's plenty of books on this, and you can read this.
Here's what I think. I love your show, by the way, Matt Spear, and
Thank you, ma'am.
Just discovered you about a week ago,
ma'am.
Oh my God, this guy's a genius. The facts he can spew.
God, I love you.
You can spew fact, and that's the sign of a genius.
Thank you, ma'am.
So I appreciate you asking me that.
So you just made my life.
I do remember back when they were bringing the crack cocaine into the black neighborhoods, and that proved that the CIA was doing it because they were grooming that population, and they've been
adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me show with your hosts Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
Good morning. Couple of things. Let's get it started right away. Likes and follows are on the board. Appreciate everybody who is following the show. We had a lot of people on last night. I think we steady streamed about 600 people throughout the entire network, which is good. I mean, it's not $75,000 like Nick Fuentes got, who was higher than Ben Shapiro. But dare I say that we, and I'm not going to name names, but we beat quite a few big channels last night, which shows me that if we work together, we can do anything. I want to address a couple things. First of all, good morning to every frickin' one of you. I'm like, I don't think I've ever felt so optimistic. I mean, the fact that we gained 268 followers last night, pretty good. It wasn't 2020 numbers, but there's a lot more people doing this job. But I think we put on a better show than 2020 because we didn't do a show. We just gave you. My neighbor said it the best. He came over this morning, took me to breakfast, and he sat down and he said, "You embarrassed Fox News last night. You embarrassed everybody last night. And those of you that didn't watch the show will never know." He's like, "But we have to figure out a way to get you on national TV." And it was probably the nicest thing anyone ever said to me. And I happen to love the guy. We did well last night. We had everything. You know, I put up at the end of first of all, let's address the things I need to address. The first thing is last night we cut off on Facebook. We were on for 8 hours straight on Facebook, almost 9. And it failed around 2 o'clock in the morning, 2:15, 2:30 in the morning, whatever it was. And we just decided to pull the plug at that point because we lost a third of our viewers. And I just said, you know what? We're good. We got our message out. Let's people go celebrate. Let them go watch the media. Let them go see Trump and Melania and Barron and just watch what they've earned. And it felt good to do that. So we did that. Then the second thing is the people who donated. And by the way, with new donation goal, we're back down to reality today. So we're sitting at $200 for our donation. You can donate to thedumshow.com/donate. The amount of people who gave last night was incredible. Like we hit half of our goal in the first 2 hours, I think. And I think the total was, I think all in all was 1,650 people gave just to help the show. And that means the world because putting on an 8.5 hour stream is not cheap. It's expensive. And I appreciate you so much. And we love you. And we appreciate you. Now let's get to the nitty gritty. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to come on and say, you know, you should be magnanimous about your win. And you shouldn't gloat. And you shouldn't take victory laps. And you shouldn't rub it in liberals' faces. That you shouldn't make it personal. And I'm here to tell you with everything in my soul, fuck that. You call me a Nazi for 4 years. You make fun of my education. You insult my family. You threaten my family. You send me death threats. You try to kill the president, former president of the United States, now the future president of the United States twice. You throw him in prison. At least what you want to do. You arrest him. You indict him. You give him 97 felony counts. You spy on him. You malign him with Russia. You spend $50 million of our taxpayer money on an investigation that provided no results. You formulate and rewrite laws. You give preferential treatment to Joe Biden and others that you don't give Donald Trump. For 4 years, actually 9 years, you have lied, cajoled, stolen, unconstitutionally, focused on lawlessness and reciprocity against somebody who did nothing to you. Nothing. In fact, I would challenge any Democrat to call me, what did Donald Trump do to hurt you? Tell me. Call me right now. Phone lines are officially open. Tell me what he did to hurt you. Show me on the doll where he hurt you. You can't. So everyone's going to say it's time for healing. No, it's time to pour lemon juice in the wound. Because the American people, don't you remember there's more of us than you? 33% of America, Trump maggots. Well, it looks like the popular vote is going to go and literally flip on its ear with a gap of almost 12 million votes. Now, let me explain why. Joe Biden won by 7.1 some odd million votes, whether you believe it or not. Donald Trump's on pace like 4.9 in the popular vote. That is a 12, almost 13 million vote swing. To sit here and say that MAGA is not America would be a lie. The Republicans have officially repudiated Democrat policies, but that's not enough alone. Independents came home. Haley supporters came home. Hispanics came home. African Americans came home. Inner city came home. Women. We couldn't have won it without them. So instead of looking at each other and staring as their husbands are off in the other booth and they look at each other with a wink, they stood shoulder to shoulder with their husbands and voted together and said, fuck Democrat policy. Don't be magnanimous. Make them feel it. And don't forget this feeling. Because vindication is here. For every time, I don't want you to forget what they called you, what they've said about you, how they've drug your name through the mud, how they treated you at work, how they treated you on social media. And I'm not asking you to treat them the same way. I'm asking you to never let them forget. Never give them that power, because there's going to be a bunch of analysts that tell you why they lost. I'll tell you why they lost. I told you that they were going to win. I told you how they were going to win, exactly what they were going to do, to the effing letter and to the effing T. Even I predicted the number, which will come true at 312. They lost because they got kicked. They got cocky. And they thought that they had the moral high ground. They thought that they spoke for the moral majority in this country. They thought that they actually sold people on the fact that men could be women and women could be men, that our children should be indoctrinated sexually, that it was okay to take down the U.S. flag but put the rainbow flag in and sexualize our children in classrooms. They thought it was okay that they could go ahead and call us every name in the book, that they could ostracize Jews and hate Jews in front of us and we wouldn't know, that they could disrespect the legal immigrants in this country, millions upon millions, as we are all legal immigrants, by inundating us with illegal immigrants, by starting wars, by giving billions of dollars to foreign countries, to proposing border bills that has nothing to do with our border, but everything to do with 16 other countries' borders. How they can allow fentanyl come in and kill husbands and brothers and sisters and daughters, moms. How they could allow people to come in and pretend that there weren't rapists and drug dealers and gangs coming in. How crime is actually not running rampant and not high, but it certainly doesn't look that way when they don't report the actual numbers. Or when unemployment looks really, really good, but comes down to earth 2 nights before the election and we see the jobs report for what it really is, a complete abysmal fucking failure. When Donald Trump takes office and we see the Dow in the after hours trading report, and we'll have a record high today, simply by his announcement that he won the presidency of the United States. They repudiated democratic politics, and the reason why is because they are toxic. Black culture are sick of dying in inner cities. They're sick of the lawlessness. They're sick of the progressive DAs. They want people held accountable. Yet you allow crime to run rampant in our country and not do anything about it. You got cocky. And the American public took it from Donald Trump based upon your death tickers. And you made him look like Hitler, like he was killing Jews. Killing your mothers, killing your fathers, killing the elderly, that it was his fault. You wouldn't let him say China virus, and then he stopped saying China virus, and then you go ahead and say that he doesn't hold China accountable. He puts sanctions all over Russia. He shuts down Nord 2, Nord 1, makes it completely obsolete for the winters for Germany and Europe to buy natural gas from Russia. He's the hardest on Russia out of every other president. This is Hillary Clinton and Obama's legacy of the Great Russian Reset as the red button is clicked. Don't you remember what they said to Mitt Romney? The Cold War wants their foreign policy back when he said Russia was going to be the biggest enemy. I don't like Romney, but he had it right. Democrats have done nothing but be a complete abysmal failure, and every single promise that they go ahead and say is a lie. And it goes back to the days of slavery, the KKK, the Tuskegee experiments, Japanese internment camps, Jim Crow laws, civil rights, the 13 southern states, the Daughters of the Confederacy, the Great Society, Manifest Destiny. And now it's happening in our inner cities. But last night, Democrats, what they were striving for, what they wanted, what they were looking for, what they promised America was unity. That it was us MAGA-Ts, us maggots, us Nazis, deplorables, Bible thumpers, garbage. 33% were the fucking problem, when honestly, we were the solution. When all is said and done, 66% of voters are going to say that they voted for Donald J. Trump or did not or repudiated Democratic policy. That is a majority that the Democrats said that they had and possessed, and literally it was rejected. It was repudiated. It was regurgitated, and it is draining into the sewer as we speak. So Democrats, let me go ahead and give you a little bit of advice. I know what your next moves are. I know what you're going to do because I've been 100 steps ahead of all of y'all fuckers. And I've told everybody who watches this show what you're going to do, and now I'm going to tell you what you're going to do again. You got two choices. Kamala Harris better get the fuck out of her hotel room and stop listening to those lawyers who are planning to have her go up and say the following. Kamala Harris is the Vice President of the United States. I cannot in good conscience go ahead and concede an election to a felon. I am going to wait until the courts decide what happens because this can't stand constitutionally. I cannot go ahead and concede to Donald Trump until we have a decision on those court dates. As a felon, he broke the law. In good conscience, as the vice president who swore to protect the Constitution and uphold and defend it, can't allow Donald Trump to take office. So I will support the current administration. I will support the House and the Senate as we move forward with trying to figure out what the best course forward of America is. Your speech that you're writing, you better rip it up. You better throw it away. Because if you think that we showed up with pencil and paper and the quill, you haven't seen the sword yet. And if you want to see the sword, pull some shit like that. Watch what happens. FAFO. Because we have a mandate. The entire country has empowered Donald Trump to lead this country. They are going to give them the House, the Senate, the executive branch, and 2 seats on the Supreme Court will be backfilled with Republicans for another 40 years. We will have a supermajority in SCOTUS. Fuck around and find out, because the DOJ is ours and the FBI is ours, and the alphabet agencies that you weaponize against Americans are now under our control. And they will not do your bidding anymore. You're going to have to fight your own battles. You're going to have to stand up and actually get your hands dirty if you want to win this fight. And I'm telling you, there ain't no fucking fight more prepared than we are ready for than this one. I'm not playing any more games. I stood by in 2020 and I told you what happened. And I'm telling you in 2024, this is the next step for the Democrats. There's no reason for her to hold on the endorsement this long. There's no contestation. There are no cases against any states. There are no recounts taking place. She is simply waiting. So they can figure out the best course of action to support whatever they're going to do next. And if you can't see that, then you need to listen to my show more. I'm going to show you something. If I can find it. And I would have sworn I saved this. Carrie Lake lost her election. I wonder who called that. In a red wave, where I told you the House and the Senate and the presidency were going to go the way of Donald Trump, how did I call that Kari Lake was going to lose? I wonder. Did anyone else say that? I'm not sure. I did. That's twice. Kari Lake, if you need help with your campaign, give me a call. I'm going to offer you some advice. Make sure you say you lost as governor from 4 years ago, and go ahead and say you lost as senator now. Eat some humble fucking pie and stop talking about stolen elections and January 6th and start talking about what you're going to do for Arizonans. That's a good start. Try to take some pointers from Eli Crane. Don't be sellable. Don't create fake recordings. Don't go ahead and file frivolous lawsuits. Own when you lose. Be a gracious loser. Be an even more gracious winner. You got a lot to learn, Kari Lake. You may be a great newscaster, but you're a shitty politician. No offense. Here you go. Oh, am I upset? No. Nope, same old Matt. Nothing's changed. It's a new day. Now it's time to get to work. Here's where we start. Has anyone had a chance to see this? Let me go ahead and bring this all the way to the front. What does this mean? Matt, how did you know? Matt, how did you know? How did you know the election wasn't stolen? How could you possibly know? We don't understand. You told us all this time that the election wasn't stolen. Well, here's how. Someone finally figured out the things that I've been saying, because I told you all I needed to have was the 2024 data, and I could show you that the election wasn't stolen. All you have to do is look at the amount of votes that happened last night versus the amount of votes that have happened in the past. And all you have to do is look at the overall averages. The question is, Matt, how did they have 63 million and then get to 70 million? Well, that's pretty easy. A few things took place. Democrats left their party. They became independents. Some joined the GOP. In fact, 2.9 million over the last 4 years have left the Democrats and have come to the GOP. But that's not including the Democrats who just stayed registered Democrats. It's not the libertarians who stayed registered libertarians, the independents who stayed registered independents. Those people also came over. You're going to find that Donald Trump probably gained 2 to 3% in the male vote and also overperformed from 2020 in the female vote, where he lost 4% women and 3% men, where Joe Biden increased, but Donald Trump stayed flat to 2016. He got more women and men, but there were more votes in 2020. So as I've tried to tell you, he stayed flat, which is excellent, considering how many votes were interjected, almost, 40 million votes into the voting system. I just showed you the numbers. Why did Democrats perform exactly like they did in 16, 20, and in 2024? 12, 16, minus 20 in 2024, because 20, we saw a huge increase in Democrat voting. I told you what happened. It wasn't cheating. And how do you know it's not cheating? Well, it's pretty fucking simple, folks, because look at the Republican number 2. It went up in 2020 massively, which means that Republicans would have had to cheat too. Does anyone actually think? No. Now you know. There was no steal. It's everything I told you. They used the current state electoral system and the constitutions of the states to be overruled by judges due to emergency powers of COVID, and mail-in ballots were sent out in mass, predominantly to the inner city and the heavily blue swing state areas. And we saw a massive increase in Trump and Democrat support, but predominantly because they were sent to these blue counties with a high propensity of voters, Democrats gained the benefit. You saw a lift in Trump's numbers. You saw a lift in Democrats' numbers. The difference is that the Democrats that continued to vote after 2020 did not break with the Democrats in 2024. They went to the GOP. And that is why you see a number that is flat in 2024 for Democrats and one that's just slightly under 2020 for Republicans. Democrats are wondering, where did all of our voters go? What happened to all of our people? We counted on them to show up. They did. They just voted for Republicans. For 4 years, I've been fighting the stolen election shit. I am writing a book, and my book now is fairly much going to be done. And in it, it is going to be a lesson of stop listening to people who lie to you. Stop believing everything you hear. Just because it sounds good doesn't mean it's right. They did it right under your noses, and I told you they weren't going to do it again. And the one thing I told you was vote, 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 vote. You did. We won. I don't want to hear anything else about a stolen election ever again. I'm not going to talk about it after tonight. Maybe when I do my book tour, but no more. I've been talking about it for 4 years. I'm exhausted with the stolen election. We put it to bed last night, and the numbers prove it. Because if they could steal it once, why couldn't they steal it again? And if we were stealing it in 2024, why didn't we steal it? Or in 2020, why didn't we steal it when you saw the numbers for Republicans too? It's simple. I told you before this, how many of you guys remember? 128 million to 135 million votes is where we would land. We're right shy of 135 million votes in this election. Do you think that that was a guess? No more stolen. We now are going to be a different party, I hope. We're going to be a smarter party. We're going to be educated, and we are going to fight liberals and their bullshit emotion with logic, with numbers, with facts. And you have a huge responsibility right now to go out and challenge the lies that they're telling, the blubbering that's taking place, the bullshit about how it was stolen in 2024 is already starting. Because they can't explain that graphic that I just showed you when I've been able to explain it to you for 4 years. This is exactly what happened in 2020. This is exactly what happened in 2024. And the only fault of anyone in this whole thing when it comes to losing are the people who lost. If you don't show up, you can't win. So for all the people who left the show and said, I'll never come back and I'll never watch the Don't Unfriend Me show again, how dare you say that the election wasn't stolen? I don't want an apology. I don't want anything. I want you to come back. I want you to watch the show, and I want you to move forward, because we have got a lot of work to do. And if you think this is where the fight began and ended last night, we have not even begun. Democrats have two choices. They can continue on the path that Kamala Harris is on right now, which is to disavow and not concede the election because she makes it a constitutional crisis, which is a very real possibility. Or you come out and you shut your face after you concede, and you go ahead and with a full-throated show that you can be magnanimous and save democracy by having a peaceful transfer of power. But we know you guys can't do that. You guys can't let it happen. How the hell do you go ahead and support Hitler now? How are you going to do that? How are you going to support Hitler? How are you going to stand there on those steps while he puts his hand on that Bible and he doesn't sizzle, and holy ground doesn't repudiate and spit him down into the lower rings of hell? How the 9 rings come up and grab him by the ankles and pull him down into his rightful place next to Hitler? How are you going to sit here and sell your party if you don't fight like hell, to fight every inch of your soul to unleash Raskin, to unleash Jack Smith, Fani Willis, everyone else, to use every federal judge that was appointed by Obama and Biden to go after Donald Trump with a full full-throated 65-day, 70-day lynching of Donald Trump. How do you go ahead and do that? Can you do that? Because here's the thing, Democrats. If you don't go to war and you don't leverage the courts and you don't make cases, and if you don't try to block him from going and invoke the 14th or the 25th, if you don't throw him in prison in the next few weeks during his sentencing, you're admitting that you lied. You're saying, well, this was all politics. All this hate, all about your abortion rights and your womb and going back to Stepford wives and deporting illegals and tracking you down by GPS over state lines. Yeah, all that was just bullshit. We lied to you. It's not happened. It didn't. It's not going to happen. Never would have happened. It's just a lie. We lied. Do you really think that the Democratic Party is going to stop raising money and stop calling him a Nazi and stop calling him a dictator and move the goalposts down the road like Q does and simply say, okay, well, he may have won, but we know why he won, because Russia got involved. That's next. Russia won it for him with disinformation and bomb threats into Georgia. They can't stand this, and they won't stand for it. What's going to happen? She has a choice. Come out, concede, and get the fuck out of the way. And clean out your offices. We're taking our house back, and get the fuck out. We don't want you anymore. And probably never have another fundraiser again, and lose the House and the Senate from even a deeper cut in 2026. And the reason why you'll lose that is because you're not going to be able to fundraise a frickin' cornucopia fruit basket. You just raised $2.5 billion on a fucking lie. You just stole $2.5 billion from Americans, hardworking Americans, and told them that the orange Nazi was going to be a dictator. And all this guy did was literally have a record after hours market performance in the stock market. And you're going to see what he's going to do when he deregulates business and energy. You're going to see the tariffs work as he starts from day one. And yes, we're going to pay a little bit more, and he's going to tell us that. But we're also going to drop money in other areas outside of solid goods, material goods like food and energy. It will wash. Yes, you might pay a little more for a TV and a computer. Yes, your phone might be a little more expensive, but the other things around you are going to go down. As American business comes back, yes, those prices will more than likely not go down, but it'll be American businesses. It'll be jobs in America. That means the money stays in America. The taxes stay in America. And we start producing things in the next innovative step. We are ahead because we are not outsourcing it to foreign countries. You're about to see what can happen with strong policy because we saw this already in 2016. We've been here before. We've been here before. Sue, I love you. I'm sorry about your daughter. You know that. This is a huge, huge moment in this country's history. This is a massive mandate. And I don't know if you'll ever see anything like this again. This wasn't a Nixon. This wasn't Ronald Reagan. But I'll tell you, by the time this is said and done, it will be one of the biggest turnarounds in U.S. history from election to election. I told you they got the polls wrong. They did. I told you he was going to take the swing states decisively. He is. I told you we were going to get the Senate. I told you we were going to get the House. I told you Virginia was going to be close. I told you New Hampshire was going to be close. New Hampshire would be a bellwether for what happened in the rest of the country for Trump. It did. I told you the bellwether would be Virginia for Pennsylvania. It was. We can go on and on and on. There are 1,000 things we got right last night. And we didn't get anything wrong. I listened. I watched for it. Ryan was spot on. Leroy was spot on. Amy, Olivia, we all crushed it. So we appreciate you being here. We've bragged enough. Now it's time to get to work. We're going to show you some videos, some things that are going on. But I don't want to hear stolen election. I want you to do me a favor. If you could do me a favor as a friend, and you are my friends, and I love you dearly, don't say stolen election anymore. Enough. Because that's now a Democrat trope. And the Democrats are going to be saying it. Don't malign yourself with them. Just like J6, I spoke out against it because it maligned us with BLM. It doesn't matter. It was one event. Yes, unfortunately, they used it against us for 4 years and dismissed all the destruction, $2.5 billion in damages, fireworks, blowing off fingers, deafening officers, blinding officers, ice bottles full of water, throwing dog shit at them, bricks, burning down federal buildings, police stations, taking over entire sectors of the city. And then we do J6. Don't talk about stolen elections anymore. Just let it go. Poof, it's gone. Let them be the idiots. Because anyone in their right minds know that this is, you're going to laugh now. And all of you are going to go, you guys are idiots. No, we didn't steal it. Don't sound like them. Please don't. Don't buy into their shit. Because as dumb as they sounded is as dumb as you're going to sound. Just let them say it. And sit here and let us go ahead and reface the Supreme Court. Let's pass a proposition. Let's go ahead and make an amendment that Puerto Rico and D.C. will never be states. Let's solidify and codify overall settings for service of Supreme Courts to be lifetime to ensure that we codify this with a vote. Let's make sure that we go ahead and cast reciprocity on all 50 states and make it a federal right. Let's get the states together. There are more states for us than them. We will have the House. We will have the Senate. We can protect the Second Amendment in perpetuity. Maybe we codify something with abortion. Maybe we do. Maybe we do. Maybe we shore up 2028 literally in the first year and get the states together and come up with what life truly means. Bring the best doctors in. Best OBGYN, neonatal nurse practitioners, scientists, people who've studied this. Bring in Planned Parenthood. Sure, bring in those pricks. Bring in the pro-life movement and the Christians. Let's have the God element conversation. Bring it all together and let's figure out so we stop killing babies en masse. Let's agree on a number. Because we know as a country we have pretty much the same ideas. That rape, incest, and life of mother, I think everyone agrees, maybe not for their own personal, but for the person they know, or maybe a sister or a daughter or a mother or somebody across the street who's a neighbor. They say, I support their right in these situations, but I would never make that choice. That's great. Maybe we put a number on it. Maybe it's 8 weeks. Maybe it's 10 weeks. Maybe it's 12 weeks. But we need to start having the conversation because abortion should never be on the ticket again because it's with the states. And if you want to make it a right, codify it. It's time to start making some amendments. It's time to start solidifying the Constitution as the one document that we go forward into the next millennia. Because if we do not, we will lose it when they gain power. We have got to figure out a way. I don't want to hear about the baby's rights. I don't want to hear about the mother's rights. I want to have a conversation. You're right. We got to worry about baby. We got to worry about mom. We got to worry about this. We got to worry about that. But it will never solve itself until we have a conversation. It's time to have conversations. It's time to have conversations about guns. It's time to have a conversation about abortion. It's time to have a conversation about immigration. It's enough of this draw a line in the sand and never get anything done. It is time to start talking. Republicans need to lead these national conversations, and we do it through patience, through love and care, and we protect the individual rights of every American, including the unborn. But we don't fix it until we have a conversation. We have sat by long enough and are just waiting for executive orders and judges to go ahead and decide what the American people want. We have elected the House, the Senate, and the presidency with GOP. That means you get to lead in every facet. The purse strings, the executive, the judicial, and the legislative branch are all under the control and will be of the GOP. It's time to make some changes. We cannot sit like 2 years like we did in 16. Trump has a cabinet. Trump is ready. Trump has an administration. He knows who the speakers are going to be. He knows who the majority leaders are going to be. He's ready to go. I don't care what the decision is. I want the conversation to happen, because when the conversation happens, America will decide. We will come together as a country and we will find compromise, but somebody needs to lead the conversation. And if Democrats don't want to come to the table, fine, we have the majority, we'll decide. But we have some very tough issues. We need to find out what we're doing with Ukraine. We need to decide if we're going to give them a bloody cent. What Donald Trump should do on day one is say to Ukraine, Russia, Ukraine, we're doing a full stand down in 9 months. All funding to Ukraine will stop. All embargo, all blockades, all sanctions will be reimposed on Russia if you don't. We will cripple Russia's economy so they'll never be able to fight war. And Zelensky will cripple you so you'll never be able to fight war. And you two can throw sticks and rocks at each other. But this shit stops today. You got 9 months. We need to have a conversation. We got to figure out what we're going to do about Russia and how we're going to go ahead and have a conversation about what it looks like having NATO surround their entire country. We may not agree with Vladimir Putin, but we might have to kind of put ourselves in an understanding of what that must feel like. If Alberta and Calgary and Toronto and Edmonton all decided that they were our enemy and pointed weapons at us and said, if you cross our border or fire a flare over our border, World War III takes place. And the only thing that we have left is Calgary. And then Calgary decides to join the UN. How would we feel? Not saying I'm aligning with Vladimir Putin. I'm saying maybe we should ask some questions. Maybe we should have some conversations. Maybe we should talk about Africa and start talking about the rehabilitation of Africa. Maybe we should start talking about what that country is going to look like, because it is one of the only and largest land masses that's available, rich in minerals. And it's one of the only places outside of Antarctica that can be established with a flag stuck in the middle of it. And the next 20 years, Africa will be fought over. We've got to figure out what that looks like. Do we start sitting down with the world and talking about how we distribute that? Who wants to be an influence? Is it a united front? Is it multiple countries who go in and rehabilitate Africa and help it grow and stand on its feet, who give them the medicine that they need and bring in the food so they can catch up with their overall GNP and productivity for exports that they need to get out of their country so they can become the next Venezuela before it turned into communism? Africa is going to be a hotbed in the next 20 years. What are we going to do? How are we going to ensure that climate change doesn't stop common sense legislation? How are we going to make sure that, yes, we're going to stay with ICE vehicles, but how do we ensure that they don't pollute to the level that they do right now? Maybe we find a compromise. Maybe we find a compromise that hybrids are the way to go. Maybe we find that certain vehicles will do better than electric or gas. Maybe there's a way to find that out. Whatever it is, we need to have the free market come together, invest in new technology, purchase new technology from around the world, and perfect it here in the United States. How do we make sure that places like Flint, Michigan, and others have the clean water? How do we make sure we go into these inner cities and clean up the drugs and clean up the gang epidemics? There is so much work to do, and we cannot do it in a silo. We have a lot of work to do. And Republicans need to lead. And I'm telling you, Speaker Johnson, you may not like him, but I'm telling you, he's loyal to Trump. And that's what Trump needs. Trump is not going to make the same mistakes he made in 2016. He's not going to sit around for a year. He's not going to sign an omnibus bill on day one that spends $2.1 trillion and sets his administration back immediately. Donald Trump is going to play hardball because he has a mandate from America to do whatever the fuck he wants. That is what they said last night. You have a blank check. Go fill it. And anybody who stands in his way reaps the whipping rod, because that is what America has given him. And he gets to stand up there and say black, brown, female, male, Christian, Jews, Muslim, didn't matter. They voted for me. They all voted for me. They gave me a mandate, and we are going to change America. Good. Do it. I'm excited. I hope you are too. Folks, everyone had a great night last night with donations. I appreciate you helping us out. Remember, you can give to the Don't Unfriend Me show if you have a chance at thedumshow.com/donate. Every bit helps, keeps our show going. Let's go ahead and dive into some video. I don't mean to be too heavy. Just wanted to make sure that you understand and understood where I was coming from. Let's go ahead and give you some of the first things that we've heard. There's meltdowns all over the place. And I want to start with The View, because a lot of people wanted to see The View this morning. Notice how they're all wearing black. They're such fucking drama queens. I mean, seriously. I mean, talk about theater. Give me a break, ladies. Give me a break. They're all wearing black, except for Whoopi. Well, sorry. Whoopi's wearing black too. Yep, racism. It's back in America. Yes, I'm a racist, xenophobic, homophobic Nazi. That's me.
I don't know. I'm profoundly disturbed. I think if you look at the New York Times this morning, the headline was America makes a perilous choice. I think that in
we will go over the election map. I need a break. I want to watch a few videos, and then I'm going to break open the map. We'll talk about the states. We'll talk about where we're at. You trust me, we got it all for you.
2016, we didn't know what we would get from a Trump administration, but we know now. And we know now that he will have almost unfettered power. And
no, not almost. It's pretty much the only thing he doesn't get to do is declare war. So he's got executive orders. He's got a mandate. He's got the coin. He's got the law enforcement behind him. We're going to find out if he's a dictator. We're going to find out right now. And you all are going to look really stupid with egg on your face. Every one of you. You're going to look like fucking morons. Because that's not what he's going to do. He won by going into the impoverished neighborhoods. He went into the gas stations. He visited barber shops. He made your candidate look like an elite douche plow manufactured candidate. She was as inauthentic as a mannequin. Donald Trump looked real. He looked genuine. He related to the American people. And guess what, folks? You're so daft. Because I haven't even said this yet, and I didn't think I was going to, because I just didn't want to let the cat out of the bag. If you want to see what Donald Trump did, go look at Bill Clinton's playbook. It's exactly what fucking Donald Trump did. Exactly. Bill Clinton went everywhere. Bill Clinton went into places he had no chance. Bill Clinton, where people threw rotten fucking vegetables at him. Corey Lewandowski is a genius. I told you when Corey Lewandowski went onto his ticket, what did I say? I said, well, Donald Trump just won the election. I don't care what you think about Corey Lewandowski, but the man is an amazing campaign manager. He's excellent, and he did not get any credit. But those are his calls. Donald Trump went where Kamala Harris was afraid to go. He pulled a Bill Clinton, period. It was an absolute 100% mimic of Bill Clinton's campaign run.
so I worry not about myself, actually. I don't worry about my
Thanks, Katie, for watching in the UK. We love you.
Station in life. I worry about the working class. I worry about my mother, a retired teacher. I worry about our elderly and their Social Security and their Medicare. I worry about my children's future, especially my daughter, who now has less rights than I have.
No.
And I remember my father telling me many, many
Shut
years
up.
ago that I was the first person in his family to enjoy full civil rights.
Sonny, listen, you're so pretty, but you're so fucking ugly. And that's a shame, because you're a beautiful lady. And you're not stupid. You really aren't. You're not stupid. You're just hateful. And you're so full of shit. I can't believe you guys are still talking about this. You're not even going to give it a rest. After he was shot, you called him Nazi and a Hitler. You just lost the election, and immediately you're back to he's going to cancel Social Security. No, he's not. Do you understand how stupid that is what you're saying? Do you understand how quickly he would literally lose the House and the Senate 2 years later? They would repudiate and completely spit on GOP. It would be as bad as what the Democrats did with their overall spending. It's the kiss of death. Give it a break, lady. Thank you, Joseph, for the tip. We appreciate it, man. Thanks for helping us out in the Don't Unfriend Me show. Here's the rest.
And now I have less civil rights than I had when he told me that. So again, I'm profoundly disturbed that the 14th Amendment of the Constitution did not prevent someone who participated in an insurrection from becoming president of the United States.
Yeah.
I think that going forward, the convicted felon box on employment applications better be taken off, because if you can be the president of the United States, then you should not be prevented from employment in this country.
So brave, yes, because a clerical error should stop you from ever holding a job again. I completely agree. So hot, so dumb. She looks good. She's a good-looking woman. Just stupid as shit. Dumb as dog shit. I remember I said she wasn't stupid. I was wrong.
Because I remember applying for my jobs as a federal prosecutor, and there was a box for convicted felons. Well, and so that box better be taken off. And I think our health.
Well, wouldn't it be a clerical error on the application if they didn't fill it out? Wouldn't that be illegal? lying on a federal application? Wouldn't that be illegal? We can't do that on a background check. Can we do that? Can we lie on a federal application for a loan? What is she saying? She's saying everyone should go ahead and commit fraud? Is that what Sonny Liston is saying? Is that her name, Sonny Liston? Sonny Holston? Sonny shit? Whatever the fuck her name is. Who cares? Sonny. It's not Liston. Sonny Liston is a character in a book. What's her name? Sonny what?
The care system is now at risk. I think
no fluoride for anyone.
Yeah, economists have made.
You know what? Seriously, no fluoride.
Clear that he's going to increase the debt by $7.75 trillion.
Right. He didn't do that in 2020 with COVID. How the fuck is he going to do that in 2024? He's not. You're okay with the Democrats spending $7.75 trillion, but not Donald Trump. Donald Trump's going to spend some money. There's no doubt. He's got to put some more money in the military. He's got to figure out hypersonic missiles. He's got to complete Space Force, and he's got to build the wall. So he's got to do that. He's also got to revitalize the DHS and the Border Patrol with new technology. He's going to spend some money. Okay? We've got to get infrastructure done. He's got to build roadways and bridges. He's got to get internet and fiber optic throughout the entire country outside of Comcast and AT&T and Time Warner Cable, right? Because their leases are fucking incredible. The U.S. government should have its own fiber optics, okay? 100%. There's a lot of money to be spent. But that's going to be really easy when you've got 4% GNP growth. And that's what he did in 2020. 2016, 2020. Yes, COVID, we know what happened. But if you look before that, he was running a surplus, okay? We were net positive in revenue. And although he did spend a lot of money, $6.1 trillion, if I remember correctly, that's only like 13th out of the presidents. There are a lot more presidents ahead of him. And it's because his gross revenue, his GDP growth offset the spend. But all you guys do is look at his spend. You don't look at the actual steak. You look at the fat. So when you take a look at Joe Biden, he's going to be right there with Donald Trump. You see Joe Biden, you go, oh, wow, he spent $2.1 trillion. Well, that's because he washed $2 trillion off the budget with COVID relief money. And he said, hey, I saved us $2 trillion. No, you just didn't spend it. That's not saving shit. So when you look at it, you can fudge the numbers all you want. But Donald Trump was not the worst deficit spending president we've had in office. That is a complete lie. I do not even believe he breaks the top 10.
I'm worried about mass deportation and internment camps. And I'm also worried about Elon Musk warning Americans to prepare for temporary hardship. I'm surprised at the result, but I'm not surprised. As a woman of color, I was so hopeful.
Kinda. You have bleached your skin. Like you're like 2 steps from being Janet Jackson. Okay. Miss Nasty if you want to, whatever your name is.
That a mixed race woman married to a Jewish guy could be elected president of this country. And I think that
you don't give a shit about Jewish, because if you would have picked Shapiro in Pennsylvania, this race would have been a hell of a lot closer. If you would have picked Shapiro, a guy who wasn't a bumbling fucking moron like Walz, your first mistake is you put 2 socialists on the ticket. Mistake number 1. Mistake number 2, you literally put dumb and fucking stupider on the same ticket. Okay, that's mistake number 2. And number 3 is you can't polish a turd. Okay, you tried to sell America that she was Obama. She isn't. You could have rolled Jimmy Carter out there and put him in a black fucking wig and some shoe polish and would have been more convincing that he was black over Kamala Harris. I'm not trying to be racist. I'm just trying to be honest. She did not relate to black people. She did not relate to Latinos. Women did not relate to her. She related to fucking crazy progressives who are on Twitter and TikTok. That is who she related to. She related to Taylor Swift fans. That's not going to win you an election. Sorry. Truth hurts.
Had nothing to do with policy. I think this was a referendum of cultural resentment in this country.
Well, I think it...
Oh, God, The View. I love how they're all wearing black. I really do. It's except for one. There's one in green, emerald green, so not all black. Who cares? Listen, you guys had TDS before. You have TDS after. Why would we expect you not to have TDS during? Give me a break. I love liberal tears. I was on Twitter till 5 a.m. just tearing people up. Just going back to all my old bookmarks where people said, bookmark this. Kamala Harris is going to sweep. I'm like, oh, hey, man, where you at? What's going on? Do you know how many deleted accounts I found on those bookmarks? People just literally dumped their entire freaking accounts because they posted stupid shit. Charity says dumb and stupider. Yeah, I know. You like that? That was funny, right? Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I love how Whoopi's off in the corner and she doesn't know what to say. Sunny Hostin, that's her name. Sunny Liston, whatever. Here is the view on the way to work this morning. I got some footage of some CCT cameras outside. There it is. I can't play the rest because I'll get copyright. Here, we'll just go ahead and do this. There it is. Yep. The View on their way to work. Unhappy. Raging. Yes. Oh, witches. They're so fun. Meltdown City. Margaret Brennan. Deep thoughts at 4:05 a.m. Shouts down the camera. Take a listen to this.
I don't know. I'm profoundly disturbed.
Any country I have ever covered anywhere in the world, people vote on the 3 feet in front of them and the kitchen table they sit down at every day. And the economic issues are just so fundamental, and the experience of that. And, Nora, you said earlier, maybe we overfocused on grocery prices. I think, Donald Trump campaigns saying he's going to lower the price of bacon. The president of the United States has nothing to do with the price of bacon.
Or eggs, for that matter.
Or eggs, or any of it. But it's promising. Gas. I get you're uncomfortable, even though the head of the Federal Reserve and those guys, you don't quite know what they do back in Washington, but they're making your house more expensive because they're hiking up more. You don't get that. You don't get the national number where Joe Biden is telling you, look, inflation is moderating and coming down.
Thank you, Marianne. We appreciate you.
But you understand your grocery cart or your gas tank. And that personal experience just seems to be what at least people are using to justify their vote for Donald Trump when they're citing the economy.
So let me make sure I understand this correctly. He doesn't control the price of gas, and he doesn't control inflation, and he doesn't control the federal interest rate, and he doesn't control food costs, and he can't impact price gouging. Oh. Good to know. It's going to be nice to see if Donald Trump doesn't affect those numbers, that you're all going to get in line and say, President doesn't control energy. He doesn't control food prices. He doesn't control inflation. He doesn't impact the federal interest rate. He doesn't influence the overall economy with his decisions. Which one is it, liberals? It's amazing how quickly you guys shift gears. I guess we're doing an advertisement for MRC Newsbusters. Whatever. I use a lot of their videos. So whoever they are, go take a look. Good for them. Next one. Brian Williams seeks to explain Democrats' losses. I can't wait for this. I love all these guys who told you she was going to win are now going to tell you why she lost. Why don't you just listen to the guy who told you she was going to lose, why she was going to lose, who lost exactly for the reasons he told you, and why Trump won exactly for the reasons he did, and what he was going to win. This right here, this station right here. This is us. Hi, we're the Don't Unfriend Me Show. And I know the name doesn't really explain what we do here. What it basically means is don't unfriend me for my opinions. But really what it comes down to is that we have a bunch of smart people who follow this shit because we are you. We're not elitists. We don't have millions of dollars being sent to us by sponsors. We only ask for donations, and we occasionally will talk about Wimkin, a wonderful free speech platform at wimkin.com, who are one of our sponsors, and we love them. We don't sell out to the highest bidder. I haven't been paid by Donald Trump. I don't take money from the DNC. I won't take money from any of them. Now, if Donald Trump wants to go ahead and put me on salary for a couple $1 million a year to go ahead and shill for him, I will do it. I have no scruples. But until that happens, come get your shit here. Don't listen to these people who told you why she was going to win and now she can't lose. They just lied to you. They just told you she was Obama. They told you it was going to be a landslide. They showed you her rallies. We all knew they were paid for. We knew the only reason people were showing up because celebrities were playing there or because the promise of Beyonce. Nobody cares. Kamala Harris is nothing. She couldn't win in 2020. She was an African-American woman, and she did not make the top of the ticket. You know who did? 3 fucking white guys. Biden, Buttigieg, and Sanders. That's about as white as you can get. A commie, a plagiarist, and a homosexual all beat out a kind of black woman. That should tell you that America hates her. Seriously. Listen to this. This guy literally has done like 4 lines of coke. He's on Adderall. Look at this guy. I don't even know who he is. He might even be a Republican. I've been up since 4 in the morning.
Whenever you figure out if you lose it, what did we do wrong?
That's a brawl.
How do we fix this?
The only thing we knew for certain heading into tonight was the party on the losing end would have to strip down, do an autopsy, do an assessment, look at their bench, look at what they did wrong. I've always said...
Why are you sitting all the way over there? Are you at the little kids' table? Was this Thanksgiving dinner and they put you over here? Were you not diverse enough to sit on that predominantly white table? What is it? I'm wondering. It doesn't look very diverse to me. Where's the DEI here?
Something culturally which is simplistic, flip, and half comical, but half serious. And that is constitutionally, culturally, Democrats tend to be former student council presidents, earnest recycling enthusiasts. Republicans in the modern era in politics have been stone cold killers. Yeah. And that's just it. And
I'll take it. I'll take the title. Stone Cold Killers. Stone Cold Killers it is. Thank you. We'll take the title. We appreciate it. It's better than Nazis, xenophobic, homophobic, racist, Trump-tards, maggots, Bible thumpers, garbage, deplorables. Stone Cold Killers. The shoe fits, wear it.
I think that'll be interesting to see who the killer Dems are, because this is the era of hard.
Oh, look, MRC Newsbusters did it again. Tim Sheehy just won Montana, folks. Called that one. Good. Tim Sheehy. More seats. I think 55, 56 seats in the Senate. Huge. House looks really good. If we continue to win the Senate seats, House will follow. Stone Cold Killers. That's an upgrade. Here is a meltdown from a Harris supporter. I always love these. Enjoy this. Let's. She has the Shining shirt on. I think she was one of the twins. Here it is.
We may not have rights tomorrow, so I'm going to bed with the last bit of dignity that I have left. But we fought a good fucking fight, and if it turns out that, you know, shit flips, you know, great, hell yeah, but right now I'm just not. I can't fucking deal with this shit right now.
Smoke more weed. It won't help. It's a depressant. My daughter she's like, I just refriended Taylor Swift on social media just to see her fucking melt down. I love her music, but I hate her politics. My daughter has been trolling Twitter, social media all morning and just lighting people up. My kids are having a field day. And I'm glad, because they should be involved in the political process. And they stayed up all night and watched, and they are so proud. And I let them stay home from school today. They got more of an education last night than they will in a year in school. They got to see what happens when America stands together. They will remember this for the rest of their life, that their voice does count. And all those people that says your vote doesn't matter, you know what? We forgive you. Don't ever fucking do it again. Okay? You got to show up. You got to vote. All you got to do is show up. All you have to do is ensure that you tap the shoulder next to you, the person to your left, the person to your right, and push forward the person in front of you and vote. We did great, and we won. Stone cold killers, folks. I think we need a new shirt, Renee. I agree with you. So, sure, she'll smoke a joint. She'll feel better in a few minutes. Basil Smikle on America's rejecting Kamala Harris. By the way, folks, we just demonstrated that America is racist. Yes, that's what it is. It's racism, folks. More racism. Here it is.
Well, a good chunk of the American voter wanted to take their country back, and we will soon see what that means. There are levels of sexism and racism that clearly a lot of people in this country are willing to tolerate.
Yep, 100%. Women shouldn't be president. There it is. I said it. Yep. Especially fake black, Jamaican, Indian people who have no personality and are about... When you make Hillary Clinton look like the personality of the year, you've got problems. I am sorry, folks, but Kamala Harris was one of the most poorly created candidates ever. First of all, she didn't win anything. Americans were like, who are you? You're the vice president? We didn't vote for you. We voted for Biden. I think them fucking over Biden. It pissed off a lot of people. I think a lot of people got mad. They didn't like it. Because here you are talking about saving democracy and you're circumventing it by installing her. Okay? So the candidate sucked. She didn't have any policies. She has no platform. She did a fucking 280, 360 degree, 47 tap to off dead center circle, zigzag, paddywhack, give your dog a bone on her policy in 2 years, flipped everything. I mean, it was the international house of Kamala. She was flipping pancakes like crazy. I mean, everything from fracking to the border, to taxes, to healthcare, redistribution of wealth. Yeah, she flip-flopped on everything. Who? She became an American first candidate in like 3 months. How? She's never voted America first in her life. People can see through this shit. I know we say that America is stupid, folks. They're not. America is not stupid. America is ignorant at times, but they're not stupid. They can see through this stuff. That's the problem. That's why we can't react like we do. We have to hold a little bit. We have to be patient. Let America soak this in. I told you. You guys at 18 months were flipping out. And I said, it's not going to matter until October. People don't tune in till about 60 days before the election. They don't care. They don't even know who's running. I know you think that that's impossible. You're like, Matt, that's impossible. There's no way. It's like if you don't watch football, then you see the Super Bowl and you're like, oh my God, it's a Super Bowl. It's Kansas City and New England. Wow. Holy moly. I didn't even know there was a football season this year. You don't know because you don't watch. And when you see it, you always act surprised. Oh, really? Really? The Toronto Maple Leafs finally made it? Oh, no, never mind. That was an 1807 flashback. Never mind. So you don't know. So there's people with politics who are the same way. They just don't know.
which is also something that, we may have woken up in this.
No, Donald Trump cannot put any laws into place. He is the president-elect. He has no power whatsoever. But he can start making connections. He can start talking to foreign leaders. He can do a lot of stuff.
Same country in a sense, but that becomes much more clear this morning. I would also say that there were conversations for over a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks about how black men weren't doing their part. Black people did their part and did everything they needed to do, including the black woman who ran. So this isn't, and going to a point that Mike Memoli had made earlier, this isn't a Democratic problem per se, because it's not a problem that can be solved with a campaign. These are deep-rooted issues in our country that we...
No, it's that Pennsylvania didn't show up. And if you would have had the 400,000 mysterious male absentee voters that you anticipated, which is why you held Pennsylvania so long, scouring every single county for them, but couldn't find them because they didn't show up, that's why you lost. And you lost because you lied to the American people and you told them that half of them were Nazis and garbage and trash, and you have a moral high ground, and you told them men are women, and you told them that it's okay if their kids change with naked men in the rooms, and you told them it's okay if there's books of 30-year-old gardeners fellatiating a 7-year-old boy. You told them that that was okay. You told them that pedophilia are just misunderstood people and it's a class of sexual preference. Yeah, you fucking people are insane, and you better figure it out quick. America thinks that you're nuts, and they're not going to vote for you. The Progressive Party is dead. When you make Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders seem somewhat lucid, you've got a problem. You've got a problem.
We absolutely need to address. And frankly, I think that, and as we're talking about big D Democratic politics, the coalition that we had relied on is now 30 years old, and it has frayed. And that is something that I think as a party going forward.
No, you notice how they said the black people showed up, but they didn't say shit about the youth? The youth voted for Trump. The youth don't like you. They don't like your policies. They don't like communism because their mom and dad told them about it. And you pretend that it's okay, but they can understand. They know what Venezuela. They've read about World War II. They actually learn this shit in school, even though they say they don't teach it. They do teach it. They understand Vietnam, they understand Laos, they understand Indochina. They understand Maoists, they understand Cuba and Che Guevara, they understand Andropov and Khrushchev, they understand Lenin and Stalin. Yes, they do. How do you think they get exposed to this shit? And then they go home and they talk about it, and then they get to hear the truth. And all they got to do is pop on the History Channel for about 5 minutes and they can figure out that communism is shit. Progressives, you can call it anything you want. You guys call it democratic socialists. You're still socialists. You've always been socialists. You believe that government should run the lives of its constituents. You don't trust them. You're federalists. And we are the anti-federalists. And we've always been that way. We believe the government shouldn't own people. You did. We believe that equality should be based upon a person's meritocracy. And if they want to reach true equality, then they have to show their worth. And yes, they have to work hard and they have to claw, but they don't get it because they pee sitting down or they have a certain level of melanin in their skin. We don't believe taxing people into prosperity because in the history of the world, it's never fucking happened. We've revolted against kings and queens, and serfs and peons have risen with pitchforks and torches throughout the days of old, going against tyrannical governments who try to tax their people into prosperity. We believe in family values. We believe in the family unit. We don't think that the patriarch and matriarch is anything to apologize for. And the Ozzy and Harriet lifestyle isn't dependent upon your skin, because even black people can be called Ozzy and even black people can be called Harriet. You're the ones that pretend it's only for white people. If you would stop complaining and bitching about where you are, maybe you could finally get to where you want to be. We repudiated your policies because they are emotional drivel that do not work. And the young people of America, as crazy as they may be, who eat cinnamon and Tide Pods, and they are very, very strange, and we don't understand them, they showed up for Donald J. Trump. Or more importantly, they just didn't show up for you.
Folks need to figure out what that coalition is going to look like. Well,
Crash Davis, you do make speeches. Here's another one.
Because
Why is it always white chicks with braids in their hair?
Don't understand what they vote.
Oh, baby, it's going to be okay. Oh, it's going to be okay. Here we go. Let's listen to what she has to say.
I hate to be the person that gets on here and cries.
Donald Trump cannot run for another term. He's done. We shouldn't even break. Please don't ask that question. Don't. Can Trump run in 2028 where it says to? No, he cannot. Donald Trump will never run for president again. He's done. And he should be. I want him to go away. It's time for a new breed of younger conservative minds like Glenn Youngkin. It's time for Ron DeSantis. Hell, it might be even time for Vivek Ramaswamy. And who knows, Tulsi Gabbard might press the living shit out of me, and she can run in 4 years. But for right now, Donald Trump has the limelight, and he is going to take the GOP into the future. He's going to bring us back to conservative principles, and all those things I just mentioned are going to be the highlight of this. Project 2025 is not going to be installed, and the Democrats will be caught in another lie. But the GOP is going to redefine itself. I think we get a party platform out of this. I think we run into 2028 ground running with Governor Glenn Youngkin, maybe DeSantis. We'll see. There's plenty of great candidates out there. We have a very vibrant party, has a lot of potential and a lot of great people. Let's hand off the torch. And Donald Trump can do what Donald Trump does, which is run the party from afar with very low risk to himself, like Obama does, and with his guidance can guide people to where they need to be. But he's an older man. He will be very old in 4 years. He will age, and his time is done because the Constitution says so.
But this could break me and my parents apart because they don't understand what they vote.
I know, but the will's going to keep you there, and you're going to go ahead and be self-serving, and you want their money, so you're going to go ahead and stick around, though, and swallow your pride, I'm sure. That's why you're crying, because it's just oozing out of you because you're having to swallow all your pride. Oh, the horror.
And like what it means and the bigotry and hatred that they stand behind and how I am trying to be a good person. I'm not Catholic like they are, which is ironic because it's religion's supposed to make you love. But I could see it breaking me and my parents apart because they just don't get it, and they don't get that they voted for someone who's gonna make my friends' lives hell.
Oh, but not yours? So you're not going to stand with your friends in solidarity? You're going to go ahead and reap the benefits of a Trump presidency and ignore your friends? That sounds pretty fucking selfish. Why is it always your friends who are going to... It's my gay and lesbian friends and black friends. Why aren't they making videos? Why is it always white women? Why do you have to speak for everybody? Why don't you speak for yourself? You know what? It's going to be shit for minority friends, but I really don't care about them. Let's talk about me and my parents, because you started off the video and you went ahead and had to tell. You care about your parents. You care that they're going to fracture and tear us apart. If you allow the government to tear yourself apart, then you're an idiot. If you allow politics to split you with people, you're an idiot. Follow my show, the Don't Unfriend Me show, which is what it is about, which is not to defriend people based upon their personal opinions. Why? Because you don't live their life, and they are allowed to feel however they want to. You don't give a shit about your friends. You don't give a shit about your lesbian or gay friends or black friends because you're not talking about them. The video started that you're selfish and you're talking about yourself. So why don't you go to your mom and dad, sit down, tell them you love them, and just shut up about your personal fucking politics, because they're going to change in 10 years when you actually have to pay some decent taxes, get your own house, and some guy rubs his pathetic pecker up and down you and gives you a kid or two. Then you're going to realize that everything you believe in now is completely self-serving and bullshit when you have a family to provide for. So please spare us the woe is me crap.
My life's okay. I'm a white woman, but my friends are not going to be okay.
Oh, God, then stop being friends with them and you'll be okay. Whatever. Just take the guilt out of your life. Just remove them from your life and you won't feel guilty anymore. Hey, this is a funny one. Watch this one.
I want to take a moment to congratulate the DNC on losing another election to Donald Trump. You replaced me with a candidate who has the same likability as Greasy, hobo taint and expected to win, and they say I'm the retarded one. The Democrats said that I was too old, that I was too slow, that I was a joke. Well, here's a joke for you. What do Willie Brown and the 2024 presidential election have in common? Kamala Harris blew both of them. I shouldn't have said that. But seriously, I mean, first Hillary loses to Donald and now Kamala. This man has beaten more women than Doug Emhoff. Anyways, congrats on losing to Hitler again. I hope he locked you all up this time. Thank Brandon out. My fellow Americans and all.
What does Willie Brown and the 2024 election have in common? Kamala blew both of them. That's so good. That's so good. It's good. It's pretty good. Pretty funny. I love the pictures in the background. It looks like you've got Donald Trump blowing smoke rings with Joe Biden, and then Joe Biden wearing the MAGA hat. It's a fun day, folks. That's what we're trying to do here. Nancy Pelosi, quick soundbite.
There's no point in saying good morning, because it certainly is not one.
Oh. You woke up with a grumpy headache, like someone took a hammer to your head. What's wrong, Nancy? Let's hear it again.
There's no point in saying good morning, because it certainly is not one.
Oh, you just turn that frown upside down. You're worth $326 million. What the fuck do you have to be sad about? You can just buy your problems away. It's going to be okay, Nancy. God, it's the greatest day of my life. I'm so, oh, God, morning, Joe. Oh, yes. Here we go.
I just got a text, a lot of very legitimate discussion here about how Democrats lost this. Yep. But I just got a text from a member of Congress saying, you know, something else we need to look at is how people are turning to social media, podcasts, and other non-traditional sources for their news, and also news stations that aren't news. And I canvassed in all of the battlegrounds. I was shocked by the amount of misinformation voters were truly repeating back to me. Truly shocked. I do believe this is what caused the collapse of the Democrats nationwide. You cannot win when people believe lies.
But I mean,
I think that's fair too.
You know,
a lot of very legitimate.
Wow, like a lie that your candidate is the greatest candidate ever to be propped up, that she had millions of people voting for her and coming to her rallies. Thank you, Christine. Christine also just picked up, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Christine, correct me if I'm wrong, but you just picked up the Don't Unfriend Me jacket, which is available over at the DUM show. It is a kick-ass jacket. You will love it. It is a soft shell Columbia with the Don't Unfriend Me logo stitched on the back, DUM Nation over the left breast, and on the cuff, an American flag. It is a very comfy jacket. You will love it. And we have a crap ton of those going out. I think that's our 17th sold. So if you haven't stopped by the DUM show, do that. And remember, you can donate. There's people who are donating. A little slow this morning. People gave a lot of money last night, and I thank you so much. But it doesn't mean that we don't have a daily goal that we shoot for, because we got to make a certain amount a month in order to go ahead and keep the show on. So you can go to thedumshow.com/donate and help us out. Listen, it's all over the internet today, and I just wanted to let you know that it's pretty good. Here's a really good segment on Joe, and I want you to listen closely. I want you to think about what's happened in the last 90 to 100 days, and it is a lot. It's a lot. Joe Biden drops out, has a horrible debate. She takes over literally in like over a weekend. She gets all the poll captains and all the state electors to endorse her for the primary vote. Literally does a coup d'etat. Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama have no desire to put her forward. They wanted a contested election. And Kamala Harris takes it over as VP. Just as Machiavellian as she could be, comes in and steals it like it's a high school prom princess vote up for grabs by stuffing the boxes. Gets a temporary high, and all of a sudden her favorabilities are lower than snake shit. And all of a sudden she starts going up to 40, 50% favorability? No. You don't see Kamala signs anywhere. Nobody's talking about her. Nobody says they're going to vote for her. They steal Joe Biden away from America, replace him. They raised $500 million for Joe Biden under false pretenses. Take that money and give it to Kamala Harris. Install her on the ballot. Not holding another primary. and then go ahead and tell us that she is winning the election and closing the gap on Donald Trump. And all the while I'm sitting here going, no, not a chance. The moment that they said she was going to take Texas, I called bullshit and said, not a chance. You got to remember, I called this a long time ago. I told you, I saw the path to victory around 16 months ago. Now 12. And the whole time I was like, I don't see a path to victory for Trump. And then Trump changed. He changed his demeanor. His election got tighter. He used the criminal trials. He used the assassination attempts. And then I told you, I said, he's got a path. And it's a good one. I told you last night she had one path to victory. It was Pennsylvania. If she didn't win it, it was over. This shit wasn't being talked about before we did our shows. We gave you the recipe for success, and he baked the most perfect pie of shitburger turkey pot pie and handed it to her to take a giant bite. Here is Morning Joe, an extended clip that I want you to watch because it really goes into what happened here, and I want you just to hear all of it. Here it is.
So this is one of these things that people start like second guessing Kamala. Oh, you know what? If she'd used this verb instead of that pronoun. I mean, she
left it all on the stage.
She left it all on the stage. She worked hard. She
the stage with a pole? Oh, wrong stage. Sorry.
By the way, I remember in 2012, one of Romney's top person calling me, Joe, the last event in Pennsylvania, we got 30,000 people there. It's going to be a landslide. Sure. We saw her crowds, and then we saw his crowds at the end. Let us hear forth, and if we can put it in stone, if we can hear forth, discount crowd sizes as an indicator.
He is drunk as shit. Donald Trump's crowd sizes were bigger than hers. She had fucking concerts where nobody showed up. And then they started bringing in these concerts of people. So scratch that. They had rallies where nobody I'm tired. They had rallies where nobody showed up, and then they started bringing in high-profile people. Okay? And she started doing it. But the Beyonce thing pissed people off in Houston no end. She didn't even sing. That's like J.K. Rowling coming in for a writing seminar, and she lectures you on transgenderism.
Indicator on who's going to win a presidential election, because this year it didn't matter at all.
Sure, Amy, you run it. Yes, we can do that. You run it. Build it. Whatever you need. You need resources, you need money, you need t-shirts, you need a website, whatever you need. Tell me, yes, absolutely. But I cannot run that right now. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of behind the scenes. I got to get to work on the DUM Club, and I've got a lot to do. This isn't over. I mean, I have to cover. The next 90 days are going to be bigger than the last 90 because this is huge. But yes, I'm all about it. I need to get some shirts out. So yes, I've got to get my Christmas sweater out. I got to get my Christmas ornament out. I've got to get my t-shirt fall line and my long sleeves out and my hoodies. I am a busy F&B, Amy. Why don't you just come over here and move in? It would be easier. I'll pay you. Now, at this point, I'm ready. Just move in.
For sure.
There are a lot of things to say and packed into that. To start with, I remember that Romney event.
Amy's like, I'll run it. I'm not moving in with
2012. At the end of the 2012 election, Republicans were absolutely convinced that, including Mitt Romney, they thought there was no question that Romney was going to beat Barack Obama. To the point where Karl Rove was on Fox News at 11 o'clock saying, we got to reverse these calls. They were that deluded. And I'm making that point only to say, in 2016, Democrats were in exactly the same place when it came to Hillary Clinton. And at the end of this campaign, Democrats got to that place with Kamala Harris. But it's not a partisan phenomenon. Republicans have been in a close, and the end of 2012 are just as deluded. There's the things that happen at the end of races where you think you have the wind at your back. Turns out you're wrong. And that was the case for Republicans in 12, Democrats in 16, Democrats this time. Here's the thing that I think we're going to your point about Kamala Harris. This has been obvious throughout, but it will be more obvious as we get further away from it. The degree of difficulty of the situation she was put in was higher than anything I've ever seen in my entire.
She put herself in. Nobody went to her. Nobody said, Kamala, we need you. Kamala went, let's get to work. Doug, get to fucking work, Doug. Answer your fucking phone, Doug. That's what she did. That's what she did.
From Joe Biden.
She was put in, she was dropped into the presidential race in August of the election year and asked to become the nominee when she was still a broadly unknown figure. She did not have the benefit of running a primary, of getting known, of getting the reps in, of doing multiple televised debates, doing any of those things, right? She had to do two things in 3 months that while Donald Trump had to do one. It was like they were running a foot race against each other, and Trump just had to run to the finish line, and she had to run to the finish line while she was big.
Right, while dodging bullets, dodging convictions against a false media narrative, against politicians, the DOJ, against sexual assault allegations and rape allegations and stealing document allegations and fixing election allegations and running a coup d'etat / insurrection allegations, all while holding Melania hostage. Yeah, Donald Trump just had to walk a straight line. This is the dumbest fucking guy on the planet, and this is why you should never listen to legacy media. If you watch my show, do me a favor, come on. I would love to literally destroy the last remaining hairs on your head. What an idiot.
Yeah, Donald Trump had just walked across the finish line. It was just he was on cruise control on rails. Yep, no problem. Kamala Harris had to go over landmines, walk up hills in the snow with a 3-toed sloth with her grandmother carrying her in a wheelchair covered in maple syrup going backwards. That was her adversity that she had to face. Donald Trump, he had an open lane highway with green lights all along on the bullet train from Tokyo to Fujimotoville. Give me a fucking break. Seriously. And who the fuck wears brown with... What is that? I don't even know what type of green that is. What type of green is that? Is that Kelly green? Are you wearing Kelly green with a brown jacket, plaid?
Making a cake.
Fuck me.
Or something at the same time, or trying to do a crossword puzzle. Or being in a boxing ring where you're also trying to fight your opponent and do a crossword puzzle at the same time.
That's funny.
What wit? Does he have a Wu-Tang Clan fucking sticker on his iPad? Really? My God, dude. Are you really? Are you really sporting the Wu? I want to make sure, man. WT Clan is represented by you? Who would have guessed that he was a clanner? Maybe he's not such a shitbag after all.
This is the period, the close of these races is
dark teal. I don't know, man. I think it's Kelly green. You know what? Let me see. Let's see. Kelly green color. The color of the Irish. Yes, I think I'm wrong. It's a hunter? What do you think? A dark green? What type of green is it? Like a it's not Kelly. Kelly is too bright. Maybe a dark green color. Yeah, it's possible. I'm looking. 172621 color hex. Let's find out what that is, shall we? Color hex 176621. Hashtag 1766. This is what happens when you win the election. You get to look up colors. Hex color code RGB 176621. No, it's too bright. I don't know what that is. I mean, I guess dark green is the best thing you can say. It's dark green. I don't know. It just doesn't feel right. Oh, here it is. It's dark green. Yeah. All right, fine. Make it easy. I mean, you had to go all simplistic on me. Fine. I thought it was like, I don't know, Emerald Fasciago green. But no, it's just dark green.
When you just need to be in the race, and she was trying to introduce herself to America while beating
doubling down
while beating Donald Trump.
It's not blue. See, it's like got a blue greenish tint, and that's what I'm trying to figure out. It's like a blue green. You know what it looks like? A Kentucky bluegrass. That's what it looks like. Is that a color in a crayon box? Yeah, like a blue, green, dark. There it is. There it is. Found it. First try. I mean, right effing there. Just bam. Look at this. Just talent. Talent. Folks, I can track a falcon on a cloudy day. I can find you.
You know, what did she do?
Look at that. That's spot fucking on. That's pretty close. Dark blue-green. The color is called dark blue-green. See, I simplified my thought process and I was able to find it. I know that's not a perfect match, but it is cloth. It is running through a filter. A digital image versus a processed video image. That's the color, okay? Dark blue-green. It's official. Stop arguing. Just agree with me.
Raised an insane amount of money. Her introduction to the country went well.
Michelle Farrell says, well, green mixed with black produces different shades of green from mixed with white. Grandfather ran a cotton mill. Okay. Thank you, Michelle. I stand corrected.
The convention was a success. Her convention speech was a success, and she crushed him in the
Katie Kidd says, it's a baby shit green. It's a new type of green. It's not avocado, but it's baby shit. Everybody knows who's a parent, knows baby shit green. It's when you feed your kids parsley and green cucumber processed food, you get the baby shit green. Versus peas and broccoli, which gives more of like a avocado green. It's a baby shit green. You know what I mean. Deborah Swizzler. It's the color of a loser. Sorry, not sorry. What the duck says, hunter green. That's what I thought. Swamp moss green. Folks, this is going to be an argument. Thomas Griffiths goes, it looks blue to me. It's because you're colorblind. Kelly green is more grass green. All right, fine. Hunter. I didn't say hunter. That's what I meant. I didn't mean Kelly. I meant hunter. See? I agree with you. Goose shit green. Yeah. Karen, can you please explain to me when you're actually taking the time to explore and look at and index goose shit to understand its color? I never get that close. Go look at that. It's goose shit. Let's get closer and find out what color it is. It's illustrious. It's dark blue-green. It looks like that fellow's shirt. Let's throw some goose shit at him and see if it stains.
She closed stronger than he did. To your point, she hit her marks. Did she make some mistakes? Every candidate makes mistakes, and Trump's mistakes were way bigger than her mistakes, which brings you back to the fundamental question, which is she was the sitting vice president for a president who had been, his approval rating had been hovering in between 38 and 40% for 2 years. No one in the history of the country has overcome those kind of headwinds.
The wrong track
is 75.
Yeah.
Whether you say that, I can argue all day that Americans have assessed the American economy, but the Americans think the economy under Biden has sucked. They think the country's on the wrong track, and they thought they did not approve of the Biden years. She had all of that weight hanging on her, and I think when we talk about this,
pack your bags. We're going on an excuse trip. I mean, dudes, guys, the body's not even fucking cold yet, and you're already making excuses at why she was a complete abysmal failure. Democrats are so oblivious. You know what I would love for one of them? Hey, guys, have you ever thought the reason why we lost is because we propped up a shit candidate and we went ahead and disrespected America by lying to them about the other guy? That we tried to go ahead and polish a turd on the U.S. economy. We tried to go ahead and say abortion was more important than your paycheck, where we disrespected most of America and your uncles, your fathers, your sisters, your brothers. Do you think maybe they looked and said, well, what happens when I don't agree with Democrats? Are they going to call me a Nazi and a racist too? Do you think maybe you just went a little fucking overboard with your emotional drama? Do you think maybe you just came after kids a little bit too much and people finally said, you know what? Fuck these guys. How about that? Nope. She wore a shitty dress. She wore a yellow ribbon. Excuses are like assholes. Thank you, Tori.
The debate in the party is now going to be, there are going to be people in Joe Biden's world, and this is about to start.
Oh, shut up. Here, I voted for Kamala Harris. I want to support women's rights. He wrote a little ditty. We'll see if I get a copyright strike from this.
Women of the world, take over. If you don't, the world will come to an end. And it won't take long.
This fucking asshole is wearing dark blue green too. What is it? Is it a douchebag of the month club that they subscribe to? And they all get a shirt with the same color on it? What is happening here? Seriously, I don't understand. What's up with the color of this shirt? I haven't seen this color this prominent. I've got a wardrobe that's extensive. I've got like 300 t-shirts. I've got like 100 dress shirts. I don't have this color. Where do I sign up to get this color of shirt? I want to be a member of the douchebag of the month club. It's the same shirt. It's the same color. I mean, I don't mean to make the entire show about color, but it's the same color. Weird. What a beautiful song. Should win a Grammy. Last thing, white dudes for Harris. Whoa, dude, easy language, bro. I'm the only one that can cuss. White dudes for Harris. Here's one of them. I got to give this guy credit. He's got some nice little figures back there. And decent. White dudes for Harris. Here he is. Language, folks. Language. Here it is.
I can't believe Trump's actually going to win this fucking thing. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm so pissed off. Fuck. 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 God damn it. I can't believe.
That's disturbing. The good news is under Donald Trump, he is going to start subsidizing IVF. Maybe he'll start subsidizing lap band surgery. You'll have a hope of not dying of diabetes before you hit 46. I wish you the best, white dude, for Harris.
Trump's actually going to win.
No, dude, you've already had your chance. No more.
Win this fucking thing.
All right.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
We're not going to play it again. Here's another one. Distraught Carrie Swisher. I have no idea who that is. Here is
Trump administration would interact with his ownership of that. One second.
Here's Carrie Swisher.
Scott wants to jump in, and I'm going to let him in 1 second. But first,
I'm sure he does.
I want to ask you about X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, and how a Musk role in a Trump administration would interact with his ownership of that platform.
I would suspect he's going to try to merge Trump Social. I've heard from a number of people today with X and take it public because it's a meme stock now. Trump Social already, which is a terrible business. So is X, by the way. X has always been a terrible business, and that was preceding Musk, and now it's worse than ever.
We'll see now. I have a feeling Truth Social is going to maybe rebound since he's the president of the United States. I don't know.
But they could merge them and make it a meme stock and make a lot of money for themselves. That could be interesting and incredibly corrupt. They could also, he'll use it as a propaganda organ, which is precisely why he bought it. People misunderstood. They kept saying he was losing money, and I think it was very clear it wasn't about money. This was a great investment by Elon Musk in Donald Trump, and that's how he sees it. He spent hundreds of millions to make billions, and he could be our world's first trillionaire.
He spent hundreds of millions to make billions and could be the world's first trillionaire. Oh, God.
If you're comfortable with a single person who has interests all over the federal government, including $15 billion in contracts, deciding things, and I know it's gone on in history, but nothing like this. No one's owned such an organ and such an ability, a publicity.
No, because Kennedy's father wasn't one of those people. No. And the Obamas having $500 million. No, that's no. Or the Clintons. No, those things don't matter. Or Dick Cheney. Or the Bushes. They were all poor. Yeah. No. Money in politics? No. It's not like giving $150 billion to Ukraine and could fund 4 to 5 Afghanistan, the first 4 to 5 years of Afghanistan in literally what we gave Ukraine in the first year. Yeah, that's no big deal. It's okay. Keep going.
Organ, and that's what it is, a propaganda organ that he's created.
How many times are you going to say the word propaganda organ? You're literally giving me a hard on.
In this way, it's not the same as before. It is not even close to the same. He has control over a number of important things, and we have to be very careful of this.
Number of important things. Sounds very specific and scary. It sounds like a propaganda organ to me. Last crier, and then I got to show you that Al Sharpton has something to say. This is
celebrating, and
she looks Irish. I wonder if she wears Hunter and Kelly green. What do you think? Do you think she endows the luck of the Irish in the shamrock and leprechaun? Do you think the carpet matches the drapes? Maybe she's rocking a little Hunter green downstairs. I don't know. We'll have to find out. Let's listen to what the silly bitch has to say.
Easy thing to me is that if this guy does end up winning again, all of the...
By the way, he won. I just retroactive. I know it's just
people who voted for him will be like happy and they'll just be celebrating.
Yeah, I've been celebrating all night. In fact, I've been drinking since like 3.
And everyone else, everyone who feels threatened by him is fucking scared.
Yeah, I know. He's terrified. Why? Because you said a lot of shit that you didn't mean. And now you can't fucking back it up because you don't have 3-letter agencies and you don't have the people in power. So you're going to have to, make some amends. You're going to have to say some apologies. You're going to have to take some shit offline. You've made your bed. You're going to have to sleep in it. And this is why you don't fuck around and you won't find out. That's pretty much it. So, sorry.
We're scared.
Listen, we have a lot more problems to worry about than redheads. You're going to be okay. We got to deal with a whole bunch of other people before we get down to redheads and put you on train cars. Just give us some time. We'll get to you. You got at least a couple years.
For our lives, we're scared for our friends. You have
Oh my God, she's wearing dark blue green too. Something is going on. This is like Pizzagate all over. Dark blue green. Am I wrong? This is a conspiracy.
Life women dying because their doctors are scared to treat them.
No, they're not.
Because of the repercussions of his last presidency.
No.
How did we get here?
Well, you lost. It's really... You lost. And you literally put somebody more unpopular than Hillary Clinton on the ticket, and you expected to win. And you lost by like 5 million popular votes. Remember that? Joe Biden won by 7 million popular votes. Well, we won the electoral and the popular vote, and we took the House, the Senate. We own the SCOTUS and now the executive branch. I mean, it is like a red letter day for GOP. So, yeah. And you lost.
How did we get here?
I think I've answered your question. I'm not going to just beat a dead horse.
To know that there is that much ignorance and that much hate in this country.
And that much fake crying? And why are all these people white? Listen, I know Latinos and black people would get a flip-flop upside the head if they made a video like this. You know what they're doing? They're going to work. They showed up today. They're not happy. It sucks. Kamala's not in. They got Trump. Now, what are they going to do? The same shit they did yesterday. They're going to go make their rent. They're going to pay their bills. They're going to try to have a better life. They're going to grind it out. They're going to just keep their heads down. And they're not going to make TikTok videos of them fake crying. So while you are sitting here blubbering and making shitty videos that you've retaken 7 to 8 times, because trust me, I make the videos too, and not one have I ever cried. I can tell you this honestly. If you would just do your job, work hard, find someone who loves you, stop blubbering in the TikTok videos, you'll find a way to make ends meet. You have to go just drudge channels and you'll find your way. 35 years I was in the workforce. I decided that I had enough and I was going to create my own thing. You can do that too, but not when you're like 18. Go work. Shut up. Stop crying. It's going to be exactly like it was yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
It's so terrifying. It's so terrifying. How could you do?
It's so terrifying. I'm going to sit around here and make a TikTok video about it.
Do this? How can you claim to be a Christian?
Trump just got Michigan. Yeah, he's going to get Arizona. He's going to get Nevada, and he's going to get Alaska too. And it's going to be 312. Shocker. Go Trump.
Anyone of moral values and support someone when every word out of his mouth is hate, when he wants to pardon people who took over the Capitol.
Oh my God, they took over the Capitol with Doritos and Funyuns. Oh God, and zip ties. Oh, what would they have done if they would have actually got a senator? Well, it would have been something like this. We have Nancy Pelosi, and if you don't, bam, their fucking head's blown off by SWAT. Hey, guess what? Crisis is over, folks. Did you want to go to Martinelli's or did you want to go to get a Philly cheesesteak? Philly cheese? All right, Philly cheesesteak. Who's going to clean up this mess? We'll do it after lunch. Let's go. Crisis is over. We shot the bad guys without guns in the fucking head. Yeah, because the American government was going to be like, yes, sir. Wait a second. Let me get SAC NORAD on the line. NORAD, General Kelly. Yeah, what's going on? We have a problem, sir. What's the problem? They've taken the house. What house? The House and the Senate, and they're on the floor. There's about 20 of them. 20 of who? Well, there's some fucking guy in horns, and he's calling himself a shaman? Right. What else? Another guy has Nancy Pelosi's laptop. What else? They've got zip ties. Do they have guns? No, they don't, sir. Great. This is what I want you to do. Uh-huh. I want you to pull out your gun, right? Shoot them in the fucking head. Oh. Can we do that? Shouldn't we just surrender our government and go ahead and just burn the Constitution and just give them the keys to the White House and let them run the country? Damn it, I forgot. You're right. Stand down, surrender, raise the white flag. Let's give them $1 trillion military. Let's make them the strongest military force on earth, the richest on earth. And we will just go ahead and lay down our arms. Thank you so much for telling me. No problem, General. We'll see you tomorrow. No, we won't. Why? Because America's over. Yeah, right. That's what was going to happen. Insurrection.
Do not do this to people that you love and care about. If you have a woman in your life, if you have an LGBTQ person in your life, if you have anyone in your life who's...
I have a shit ton of LGBTQ people in my life, and you know what they're saying? Nothing. They're working. Yeah. Same as yesterday.
Not white. How did we get here?
I'm not going to answer that question again. Ladies and gentlemen, the last video, and then we're going to leave because, honestly... 10 hours is way too much in the last 24. This is Al Sharpton. He's got some things to say.
Yes, there is.
And he's going to explain to you why Mexicans are racist. They're not garbage. That's Puerto Ricans. But they're racist. Here it is.
I just say really quickly, too. Democrats need to be mature, and they need to be honest. And they need to say, yes, there's misogyny. But it's not just misogyny from white men. Mm-hmm. It's misogyny from Hispanic men. Right. It's misogyny from black men, things we've all been talking about, who do not want a woman leading them. Might be race issues with Hispanics. They don't want a black woman as president of the United States. You know, the Democratic Party, I've always found when you're sitting around talking, they love to just sort of balkanize everybody into these separate groups and say, oh, white people don't like women and black people. No, it is time for the Democrats to say, okay, and you and I have talked about this before, a lot of Hispanic voters have problems with black candidates.
Right.
A lot
and
of,
with other Hispanics. You got some that don't like each other. And some of the most misogynist things I've heard going on this Get Out the Vote tour came from black men. I mean, misogynist things.
Yes, this is all because some don't like certain things, and 5 million people repudiated Democratic policy because of racial issues that they have with blacks and Mexicans. I couldn't have said it better myself. That's exactly why you lost. Thank you for putting it so eloquently, so succinctly. This helps a great deal. People are going to be pontificating and studying this for a long time. And now that we have it, we thank you for the answer. Folks, if you've not had a chance, please donate to the Don't Unfriend Me Show by going to thedumshow.com/donate. People are saying that Kamala Harris is supposed to. Oh, man, I have a Harry Sasson video, too. And I love listening to this little bastard cry. We need something for tonight, honestly. So I'm not going to go ahead and play it. But I am going to go over to Fox News real quick. We're going to watch what they're talking about just for a few.
Here in Michigan for a while.
And see what they have to say.
Put down roots there. Maybe look into some real estate. Great.
My damn audio issue. I can't. I'll have to figure out why it's doing this. And I will figure it out. Let's see. Live video.
All 3 times, and it's always been based on policy for me.
All Americans have to realize at this point that this election was a clear mandate for change.
Voters there speaking out about what drove them to the polls as President-elect Donald Trump stays on track to sweep all 7 battlegrounds in a decisive electoral victory. Katie Pavlich is here to dig in what we have seen in our Fox News voter and what we were seeing all night that really told the story of this election. I think you were the last person on set last night.
Damn, McCormick is still winning in Pennsylvania. Looks like we're going to get some House seats in Pennsylvania. That's great news.
You wouldn't know it by looking at you, Katie.
Happy to be here.
All right, when you showed up, though, today, and we looked back at the analysis last night, and I said, what do you want to focus on? What really tells the story of what happened last night and what's still happening today? You said race was a big part of this, and the change in the electorate and the change in which they voted, especially, I don't know, the Hispanic voter.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a sizable shift to the Republican candidate in this race.
A huge shift. You're seeing it with Hispanic voters. You also saw it with black voters. And it's a difference in the way the campaigns conducted the style of what they wanted to talk about. Trump campaign was very focused on the economy. The Harris campaign made this assumption.
Yeah, Facebook crashed because we were on for like 9 hours and it gave up. So we left and we went after. But I was up till 4 or 5. I think I woke up at 7. I got 2 hours of sleep. Trust me, right after this show, I'm going to post it on the podcast, and I'm taking a nap. I'll probably sleep till 7. I'm exhausted. I'm old. I can't do this shit anymore. Being right is exhausting. I'm just telling you, always. It's exhausting. So tired. By the way, folks, if you haven't had a chance to donate to the Don't Unfriend Me Show, now you can. We only have a few minutes left before we bail on you and then come back tonight. If that's the best we got, I appreciate you, and thank you so much.
This assumption that identity politics would take them over the finish line didn't offer any kind of substantive policy measures on the economy.
Because he ran this number up. While she still got the most support, he ran this number up way beyond the benchmark that Biden won with.
She had a very difficult time untethering herself from the Biden-Harris policies of the past 4 years among all of these demographic groups who are focused on the economy. Now, keep in mind, these are the same groups that the White House was telling for 3 years inflation wasn't happening, then it was transitory, and then they just
16% is actually a great number for black voters. That's actually nice. It's a good number. We can build on that. We should get 20 next time. Honestly, why black people vote for Democrats, I have no fucking idea.
Transitory, and they just had to basically deal with it. So that did not play out well for them.
He got into a position where he was doubling support with black male voters.
Right.
Watch this next number. This is going to blow your socks off.
Right.
I mean, it's just an incredible change there. All right. Also, beyond race, also looking at the women vote.
Yes.
You said this was something you were really watching closely last night.
Yes.
What's the story?
So the narrative going into election night last night is that women were going to carry Kamala Harris across the finish line, that they were voting on the issue of abortion. Well, there were certainly some women who were registered Democrats who voted on the issue as single issue voters, but the data showing that Donald Trump actually won over a number of suburban women in the suburbs.
Wow, it's almost like I told you he lost the vote in 2020 because of suburban women, and I told you he needed to get it. Those Nikki Haley voters came home, and I'm telling you, you all owe a huge apology to Nikki Haley. Massive, huge. She brought it home. And I'm telling you, if she would not have endorsed him and come out and done the things that she did, I promise you, Nikki Haley voters were pissed. DeSantis voters were pissed. Trump has to remember that the next 4 years is he doesn't always have to be right, and he doesn't always need to piss in people's Wheaties. Just trivialize them by keeping them completely detached from your campaign. But you can thank those female voters because of Nikki Haley, because they went to her in the primary. They came back home in the end.
Going to the grocery store, paying the bills, and that suburban women actually went for Trump rather than for Kamala Harris.
I mean, she was looking to, their campaign was looking to run this number way up, and especially there were some surprises with some of those rural voters as well.
Yes.
But you listened to the one woman on the ground this morning that they were interviewing. She said, I've had to take on a second job just to pay for the high prices.
Yes.
That affects that vote. All right. One other thing on this category I wanted to look at, voters under age 30, yes. The youth vote. Wow. There was a huge run up in the score for Donald Trump here with the under 30 crowd.
So the youth vote is always something that's elusive to campaigns. And they talk a lot to youth voters and about youth voters, but it's not guaranteed that they're actually going to show up. They did show up for the polls, but again, the assumption from Democrats was that they would show up for the left wing of the party of the ticket. They actually showed up in droves for Donald Trump in higher numbers.
That's transgender bullshit. That's separate bathrooms. That's men can be women and women can be men. Young people are sick of this shit. My daughter is 14 years old and she is ready to vote. She's sick and tired of this shit. That's one of the reasons she watched the election so much last night. So youth vote, good luck Democrats getting that back. That's your bread and butter. Without them, you guys are screwed, as we saw last night.
Attribute that to a number of tactics they used. Donald Trump went on a lot of these podcasts that younger people listen to. Kamala Harris dodged those interviews, but they also did reach out in a lot of ways with policy positions from Kamala Harris, trying to court those voters. Clearly, it didn't work.
One of our first pieces of data of the night was looking at the most important issues facing the country for voters. It's the economy, it's jobs. This was by an overwhelming majority for voters. This was the biggest concern. Immigration, still double digits there, but Democrats spent so much time on abortion.
This
and
was,
look how
this
far
was
down
their
it was.
whole gamble here with the women. This is what they wanted,
Yep.
but the women ended up voting on economy and jobs, immigration. I would see public safety is also included in this immigration number, just given the crime we've seen all over the country, in the cities with illegal immigration. Also, these two numbers blow up an assumption from Democrats that Hispanics are voting on the immigration issue in favor of more open borders and amnesty, when they're voting actually for more border control and stronger enforcement of current laws. And of course, this economic number encompasses everyone inside the country.
American Hispanic voters are in favor of legal immigration. They are against illegal. Yes, exactly. Katie, thank you so much.
Great to see you.
All right. John, back
Folks.
to you.
Sandra, control of the House still up. Republican secure trifecta. The chairman of the National Republican Congressional Committee, Richard Hudson, is up next to help answer that question.
All right, we're going to have a lot more tonight. We're going to have a lot clearer picture. It's a little foggy right now where the House is going to land. House looks pretty good. There's a question mark, but I'm still saying the House goes to Republicans. I doubt that they give them the Senate, give them the executive branch, knowing that they're going to fulfill SCOTUS and then go ahead and not give them the House. It doesn't make much sense. Let's go ahead and talk tonight at 7 o'clock. We'll bring it all back. We'll reset the donation counter. I want to say thanks to the people who did donate. Thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me Show. Let's continue to make this big. Let's keep growing. We have a lot to cover. We are just starting. And anybody who thinks, okay, it's time to check out and take a break, no, because the news is going to come rapid now. You're going to talk about these investigations. You're going to talk about these sentencings. You're going to talk about these cases. There's going to be challenges to the election. We're going to find out if Kamala Harris is going to speak publicly, because she's supposed to call and concede to Trump. But we haven't heard anything about her conceding nationally, and that makes me worried. The longer she goes and waits, the more opportunity for something nefarious to happen, like her saying that I can't endorse this, I can't certify this, I can't concede until we get the court decision on his convictions back. Constitutionally, I was sworn to protect the Constitution of the United States, and in all due diligence and conscience, I cannot certify or I can't think of the word. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. It's not succeed. That's secede. What the hell? It's not seceding from the union. Come on, folks. What is it? I just said it like a minute ago. It's not succession. It's not secede. What? You know the word I'm thinking of. Somebody pick this up, will you? Hurry up. Give me the word. I'm too tired. I can't remember. Can't. It's not rescind. It's not recede. Concede. Holy shit. What the? I got to go. I got to get some sleep. I am exhausted. It has been a long fucking week. See you tonight at 7 o'clock. Make sure you stop by. It'll be myself, Olivia, and Amy. No, Amy won't be here. She's worked too many hours. It'll probably be Olivia and I. Maybe just me. We'll see. See you tonight. God bless. Talk to you soon. Later.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree.
Hey, even though I will not be able to pop this in, I want to say thank to Leonard Bamard, I believe is the name. Leonard, thank you for your donation, $25. I just saw it. It just came through literally a couple minutes ago. I did not get to pop it up. So you know what? And I always want to try to make sure people are recognized for their donation. I hope you see this. If not, I do apologize, Leonard. There you go, my friend. $25. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you. I hope you saw that. If you didn't, hopefully you see us tonight. And I always try to say thank you. So thank you very much. Good night. Good afternoon. Whatever.